E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live. Also on Amazon Fire TV and to Twitch. Also Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna and producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Messages of Inspirational Stories. Jim, can you believe we are on day 4?
I tell you right now, this book has been such a blessing to me because while we're sharing great information with you, it's kind of like the old story that whoever is going to be the teacher of the class, they learn more than the students. And I'm hoping you guys are getting a lot out of it because I certainly am too. And we normally don't like to read information to our audience, but the verbiage in this book is so powerful.
Right.
If I put it in my country English, I'd probably water it down. I'm being honest. I've got a degree in Southern slang.
But, Bill is just a powerhouse. He is a powerhouse. And, he's going to be on our show tomorrow. And we are super excited about that because we're going to do a point, read, and talk.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So Jim and I will take turns within chapter 6, or actually even in the whole book itself, right? The 7 levels of truth.
Right.
And point and read, and we're going to talk about it.
It's just going to be one of those deals where you're flipping through the book. He says, stop, point to a paragraph, let us look, and then we go right there. And he's going to be sharing some information with us about that. And in doing that, I just lost my place, so that's okay. Well, I'm right here, right?
Right, you are right.
But we closed in our last show. You shared with them that quote by the unknown author. Would you be so kind to do that again? Because listen to this, folks. My goodness.
Well, I will as soon as I can find it.
Page 160.
Thank you.
We help one another like that. We're interchangeable.
We need to be interchangeable.
I mean, especially with me here.
So this is an incredible quote. Fear knocked on the door and love answered, but no one was there.
Wow. And that is basically the message that Bill shares throughout the book, that there's only 2 basic emotions. There's fear and there's love.
Right.
And most of us, we got fear down pat. We got the physical down pat because we're born into a world of survival. And with that, we understand the physical limitations. And, right now, Donna, I'd like to reach out to one person out there because I know there's got to be at least one person out there that's struggling with something.
Right.
You feel like you're pushing a chain uphill. And it may worry you. It may keep you up at night. And we've been there too.
More than once.
Oh, yeah. And the thing about it is that Donna and I, we've shared, how we came together and how things are working here for us here at the station. And we just been super blessed. I mean, some of the things that's come our way,
right?
It rang our doorbell, but it was love.
It did.
It was love. It really did. And my point in sharing that with you is not to say, "Hey, look at us." I mean, that's not it. Our point is that just hang in there. Love yourself. Believe in yourself. You're not done yet. And
No.
don't let anybody tell you you're not a winner, because you are. You have a special, unique calling in life. And just last week, we covered the 7 unique gifts that we all have a portion of.
Right. And some more than others.
Yes, because,
Right. So
yep,
our gifts are
exactly.
not going to be the same
No.
as, my gifts aren't the same as Jim's, and Jim's aren't the same as mine,
Yeah.
but we all have them.
Hmm.
The thing is that some we have more of than others.
Hmm. I'm getting a little hum there somewhere. I don't know if it's on my end or your end.
Oh, it's
It
probably mine.
it might be my brain. It's hard to say, but yeah. But most importantly, please don't beat yourself up,
No,
because everything that's physical that you cannot change,
let it
love it and
go.
let it go.
Let it
Because
go.
Donna, I love what you talk about when you talk about when you things in your life that are an obstacle for you. It's either a person, a place, or a thing. And you do a great job on that. Let me put your website up here and tell people how to get in touch with you while you share a little bit about that, please.
Well, I fell into that honestly through my own trials and tribulations with my own health issues
Hmm.
and having that surmountable health issues piled on you at one time. Um, so I had an aneurysm, and the day I was scheduling for my first brain surgery, I also found out I was diagnosed with MS, and it was a spiral effect.
Hmm.
It was a little depressing.
Hmm.
Um, a single mom of 3 children, and it was a lot to digest. And it
Hmm.
finally came to me that I had to make a change in my life, and
Hmm.
so through a lot of research, a lot of my own um, checking um, my own story.
Hmm.
Um, Sorry, we're having a little trouble on our end. I'm flashing in and
Yeah.
out. Sorry about that, folks.
Hmm.
But with that, I determined that it came down to a person, a place, or a thing. And that's what is an obstacle in our life. And it can be one of, or it can be all of them. We don't
Hmm.
know. But the
Yeah.
problem is that we are so close to the forest, we don't always see the trees, Jim.
Amen. And ladies and gentlemen, I did not know until Donna shared with me that, by her having an aneurysm, that can be hereditary.
Right. My
Just
mother
like in
had
my case with my heart attack, and I found out that when they did the open heart surgery, they found out what he's doing, going to do the stents, and they said, "We can't do that. It won't work for you. You need open heart surgery." I had a condition known as the widow maker. I did not know that that was hereditary.
right.
And, that's why we want to share information with you about that. That's why we keep covering that, because if you know someone in your family has had an aneurysm, or if you know someone in your family has heart conditions, if it's I mean, those heart conditions are going to come to you. And I had no idea uh, about the uh, about the widowmaker,
Right.
and you know,
My neurosurgeon said it was a direct generational aneurysm.
mm, yeah,
So my mother had one, and
yeah,
then hers was real little. It wasn't even something that, yeah, they found it, but they weren't worried about it. But mine
hmm,
was huge. So
yeah,
they had to take care of it. But because
hmm,
of that, my children need to all be checked.
yes. So we want to share that with you as a nicety to know, because if you have someone in your family has an aneurysm, you want to make sure that you're proactive rather than being reactive.
Reactive. Exactly.
Because I tell people what I went through was the best thing that happened to me, because it could have been a lot worse, because I only had a mild heart attack, and had it on Halloween night at midnight. And I joke about that, but the seriousness of it is that I got to the hospital as quickly as I started having chest pains and all that because I knew that wasn't right. And that is the right thing to do. Anytime that you don't feel right on your inside, regardless what it is, if you're, go get it checked.
Right.
Go get it checked. No one's going to laugh at you or anything like that. But we want to get into this book here because
Mhm.
fear knocked on the door, love answered, but no one was there. Oh my goodness, because when you let go of fear and all the negative stuff, let's just say if someone doesn't like you, okay, there's people that don't like me. I love them and, as a person, and I'll let them go. You know, I mean, I haven't done anything to them, but they may not like the way I part my hair. That's okay. That's their right. I have no control over that. So I'm just going to love them, let them go, and I'm going to focus on how I can love my life and be a
Right.
blessing to others and love people for who they are, what they are, and respect them. That's it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, in this next section, we're talking about accountability and responsibility. Which do you think is physical and which do you think is non physical? By definition, a person that is accountable is required or expected to justify actions and decisions to the person in charge.
Mm.
In other words, you have an obligation that is being measured or judged by someone else. Accountability is entirely physical because it involves answering to someone or something in the material world.
Mm.
Whatever you are accountable for is an obligation, and the anticipated physical results or expectations have been predetermined by someone else.
Yeah, there's a lot of people live in a pressure cooker like that, don't they?
Ooh, and we've talked about this on the show, and I was very open about it, folks. I was in a pressure cooker a while back, involved with um some business dealings, and it was
Hmm.
a major pressure cooker for me. But here's the problem: it was so pressurized, I didn't know I was being pressured.
Mm.
How about that one? And because of that, I'm in the eye of that storm, of that tornado storm, and the effect of it around me was just casting out to everything and everybody.
Hmm. Yeah, it really does. And because a lot of times you get caught up in the process.
Right.
It's kind of like we've always done it that way. So that's the way we're going to do it. And
So
many
that must be
times,
how it's done.
yeah, it's kind of like the normal when it's not
Right.
normal. And we're getting some noise there. And I don't know what from there. I hear some movement and all. Maybe on where you got your mics or whatever.
Yeah, let me mute myself and try to fix it.
Okay, all right, and I'll keep talking, and hopefully I'll say something intelligent. She's laughing at me. But ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to your physical life and living the life that you're supposed to enjoy, which is love and abundance, these are two separate worlds. Because physically, the worry and the fear, everything there is 100% physical and it's limited to planet Earth. When you step out into love and abundance, that's what happened to us. That's why things came to us. And that's how it happened because when you don't have any blockades in your life, your mind's not consumed about stuff because you get out of your mind, you get into your heart. And I love it when I told Bill one time, I said, Bill, and I mentioned this on a previous show, I said, Bill, I made a decision today. He says, Jim, please don't make any more decisions. And he says, he was teasing me. He said, after we were on the radio show, and he says, during break, he says, Jim, thinking's not good for you. Okay. I mean,
Not sure how to take that.
yeah. But what he was talking about is that once you make a decision, you've already got an end destination.
You've got it
You've built
boxed
a
in.
mental block, box up here. And
Yep.
everything, it's kind of like packing a suitcase. Everything's got to fit. And you're going to find some way to force it to fit.
Hmm.
And think about all the aggravation and the heartache that that brings to you, because some of you folks know exactly what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. All I got to do is hold up a mirror and say, hey, that's this guy, you
Right.
know?
And then
But,
how upset are you when there's
oh,
no the path you chose in that
mhm.
decision didn't work, and
Mhm.
we mentally, subconsciously, and consciously beat ourselves up for it.
Oh, yeah, because let's be honest, there's no way we know what the end result's going to be.
Right.
I mean, without looking at something, what time's the sun going to rise tomorrow morning without looking at a
Right.
calendar or something? But my point being is that Bill told me, he says, Jim, always make options,
Right.
because options give you flexibility and it enables you to say, okay, this is what we wanted to try and accomplish. Because how many times in our life have we set out to do something, even if we're going to start working on something, and we find all of a sudden, ding, there's an easier way to do this. We're going
Right.
to do
Or
it the easy way.
I can make it better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so if you make that decision, you're blocked into where, whoops, that
Mhm.
didn't work. Oh,
Right.
wow, that
Yeah.
was a failure. No,
Yeah.
if you do an option, you give yourself choices.
Right. You certainly do. And options allow you to have flexibility and free. It also opens you up for ideas
Right.
to take the path of least resistance. We hear that a lot in life. And Donna, Bill Heinrich's website is right there, truelifepurposenow.com. And the reason why we wanted to share this book with you too is that this book here is one of the greatest books to help you find the real you.
Absolutely.
It really, truly is. This thing has blessed me over and over and over. And every
Me as
time I
well.
read it,
Hmm.
I get something new out of it.
Right. Because it's the kind of book, folks, that wherever you're at in your life, it makes it more understandable. So where you
Yes.
were at 6 months ago is not where you're at today,
Hmm.
but you understand it in a different way
Yes. Yes.
for what is pertaining to your life at the moment you're in it.
Hmm. You're exactly right, Donna. And you're able to understand that you don't have to get emotionally out of control, or you don't have to get all these things just inside you, and you feel like you're in the middle of you are a human pressure cooker, because that
Right.
happens. Gosh.
A lot.
Oh yeah, I've been there, and I know you have too, Donna.
Yeah.
And
Once or twice.
yeah, I mean, I saw Donna during that time she was talking about it. In fact, I spoke at one of her events there, and she was very pleasant and all that, had a smile on her face, but I could see inside she was tight.
Right. I was wound like a 7-day clock.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And see, that's not good for you, and that's not the way life is supposed to be.
No.
And there are bosses out there. Donna knows this very closely, because this the chickens come home to roost with this one here, with someone very close to her. Let me put it like that. But there are bosses out there who are out of control. They're
Mhm.
emotionally out of control. They don't know how to handle this pressure cooker, and they'll take it out on other innocent people.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh man.
And they hurt, they not only hurt their feelings,
Mm.
but then they question, am I good enough?
Yeah. See,
And
that's example.
that is absolutely wrong on any way, shape, and form.
Yeah. That's an example of how when you spew out something negative, it dominoes.
Right.
Because when you have someone, if you say something or you come down hard on somebody and they don't feel, they start doubting themselves, uh, that's a double whammy right there.
Right.
But, being able to praise people and thank them for what they do, and, I didn't get this done, that's okay. I know a lot of bosses would not say that's okay.
Right.
And because the way the business world is set up too, ladies and gentlemen, is that if you're not perfect, many times the system makes you feel like you're a loser
Right.
or a failure. And if you're in that environment, you need to change your life because that's not a healthy system for you. I know that's tough to say. It's easy for me to say and tough for you to do, but the fact of it is that if you're in a very negative environment like that, understand that that's all physical and nothing good can come out of the physical of fear and being using harsh words on people because that's not right.
Right.
I like this page here on 162. It says the place to begin it is with fear and love. Fear is the most common feeling known because it is the cornerstone of a survival based lifestyle.
Right.
So that's where, when you recognize where fear is and where it comes from, then you can deal with it because remember, I was always told you're a body with a soul. But
Nope.
that's backwards.
All right. Your soul with a body.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Because your soul is going to live somewhere forever.
Right.
And this body, we know where that thing's going to wind up at.
Right.
And it's just amazing to me how much knowledge is in this book because
Oh, absolutely.
mm, and you know, fear is a good thing. Not all fear is bad. We need to point that out because
Right.
fear keeps us, you know, safe at times. It really does. And there is some
It
good
can be
fear.
its own checks and balance.
Hmm. Sure can. Yeah,
Mhm.
it sure can. If you see danger and fear steps in, that's fear protecting you from a physical danger.
Right.
That's really a harm to you and your health, you know? And I just can't get over the fact that how simple the truth in this book is and how hard it was for me all those years that I did not have a foggy clue about fear and love, about physical and non-physical.
Right.
Oh, but it's so simple when you read it, right, Donna?
It is. It is. And it makes it easier to understand
Mm-hmm.
by putting your life in perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like to think of worry as another form of fear,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It
Because
is.
we're worrying about something. Exactly.
Yeah.
We're worrying about something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that fear robs you of your moment for the day. That worry robs you of your joy for the day, for that
Oh,
moment,
yeah.
which can carry on and compound.
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right. And I want to throw out there another good video tape. It's a YouTube video, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. That is another great source for you to tap into the real you and discover. Like when Earl, first time I heard Earl Nightingale says, whatever you ask for, it's already yours. I'm going,
Right.
wow, really? I got to be honest with you, that took a little while for this old slow country boy to get my mind around it. And because I just wasn't used to that.
Right.
My brain was trained so much in the negative world. Not that I was a negative person, but the physical world,
Right.
that it was hard for me to shift that gear. And you may be in the same boat out there, and I understand that. But you know what? Keep shifting gears because
Right.
eventually you're going to hit high gear. You'll run out of gears, and the only thing left is high.
I
But
love that.
Donna, fear is a good thing because it tells us, let me read this right here if I may. It tells us when we need to make conscious choices from our heart.
That's powerful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It really, truly is. And Donna, I tell you right now, when we make choices with our brain, because our brain is very, very limited. I know my brain is limited. Okay. It's real limited. Just ask anybody that went to school with me. Yeah, it's real limited, you know. I think my parents were so happy when I finally graduated from high school. They thought, oh, good, thank Jesus he's out of there because we thought we had to burn the place down to get him out. But realistically, uh, when it comes to our minds, it can only bring up the past.
Mhm.
And so many people, as I said before, go through the pathway of down the pathway of life, looking in the rearview mirror at the past, and they're hoping somehow in some abracadabra way that the future will be good for them.
Right.
But you can take charge of that right now.
Absolutely.
Donna, one of the ways that people can take charge of their life is find some like-minded people who are willing to be a blessing to you, and you must be a blessing to them. It's a give and take kind of a deal. It's a relationship's what it is.
Absolutely. It's a
Oh,
healthy relationship.
yes, it is. Yes,
It's a
it is.
healthy relationship
Mhm.
because understanding, our fear and things that haven't worked helps us recognize that in the
Mm.
future, right? We don't want to go back into that same situation. So that's where fear becomes a really good teacher.
Mhm.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Weren't you just there? You want to go there again? I don't think so,
Yeah.
right?
Like it says here, based on our past experiences, let me back up one sentence here. It says, when we respond to fear from our head, our ego only wants to protect us. Think about that. Our ego is what kicks in. Oh my goodness gracious. And, when it comes to our ego, that pride and ego that we all have to some degree, that can ruin our life. It really
It
can.
can destroy you.
It can rob you of the true riches of life.
Yep.
And I've told the story many times about the guy who, after I surpassed 2 million downloads on my radio show, and I know the guy very, very well, okay? And he said, Jim, I'm thinking about, I got a great story and a great life and, all these wonderful things about me. He kept talking about me, the big three, me, myself, and I. That was always coming out of his mouth. It was always what came out of his mouth. And he says, what advice would you give me if I decided to start my own podcast? Because I think I'd be a natural at it. And I just told him, I said, well, the best thing, I said, you want me to give you an honest answer or a cotton candy answer? And he said, an honest one. And I said, well, the best thing I can tell you to do is go on eBay, put your ego up for sale. Do not leave there until you get your money's worth. And he just kind of like looked at me like that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. Well, the thing of it is, people asked us, why is our show so popular? And Aaron Hymas told Donna and I last week, because Donna asked him, Donna's so shy. I mean, Donna's just so shy. Sometimes I feel like, come on, Donna, ask the question.
I know. I need to get those assertive classes going.
Now, I'm sitting here and I'm having a nice conversation with Aaron, and Donna says, Aaron.
It wasn't me, no.
No,
But
no,
it
no.
was,
It was attention. Hey, Aaron. And he looked
Right.
at her. Go ahead and finish that out, please.
I said, Aaron, honest answer. How do you feel we're doing on the show?
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Just wanted
And
an
his
honest
response was, you guys are consistent. And this is his body language, and this is his verbiage. So it's not me. This is what we saw after
Right.
Donna asked him the question. He says, you guys get a lot of viewers, and that makes me happy. And he kind of chuckled a little bit. And that's when he told us we're going to have our own, in addition to being on E360 TV, we will also have our own Roku app and also Amazon Fire app where people can also find us. So this is an example of something coming to you.
Right.
When you go out on a mission of love to try to be a blessing to others, this is an example of what can come to you. I didn't even think about us somehow getting an app down the road. Did you?
No.
Yeah,
No.
because I mean, me personally, my mind, I got to get another app on my phone. I hate apps. That's how smart I am. But it's really amazing how, based on our past experiences, our internal belief system, fear will generate a negative response to any situation. Think
Right.
about that. And Donna, when I was reading that the first time, the thing that came to my mind was that I had an idea one time back in the 80s about, making some money on this project. And then the next morning, fear set in. I'm going like, oh, I got this problem, I got that problem, and it just, diffused the energy, the positive energy. And guess what?
It never
I
happened.
never, it never happened.
Hmm.
Would I have been a success or failure? I don't know.
Right.
But it's okay if I'd have been a success or a failure
But
because
at
if you
least you would
try
have tried.
something, yeah, if you try something and it fails, that's why you use options. Okay, that was a train wreck. Love yourself, forgive yourself, and then right turn. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
But realistically, that just really hit me real. Just right between the eyes when I read that, brought back
Hmm.
that old memory, and it's something that I wished I had done. But you know
Right.
what? I love myself. I forgive myself, and so what?
Right.
It's kind of like
Right.
a free lunch I missed.
But it's interesting because Bill talks about this right here. He says, we wonder why it's so difficult to achieve our goals or why we never start.
Oh, wow.
Accountability creates an uphill battle that generates resistance, stress,
Mm.
and a strong possibility that we will use manipulation to get the desired results, physical
Mm.
expectation, and get the approval of the person to whom we are accountable. The end of
Mm.
the day, there's only one person you're accountable to, yourself.
That's right. I like the way he brings out that word manipulation because that's exactly, you're hitting a nail on the head there. Mm. I
And
mean, go ahead.
oftentimes how many people in our lives will manipulate us to get what they want.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that the truth? That is the one thing that I hate and I do my best to avoid, and that is to try to manipulate. So I'm glad I can't even say the word. That's how manipulate. But I'm kind of proud I don't even know that word.
Right?
That's a double four-letter word in my mind.
Absolutely.
But because
Absolutely.
when you start taking advantage of people, um, you are just robbing yourself, up one side and down the other. And the ignorant and the undereducated do not understand that. They think they're getting ahead.
Right.
You never get ahead by hurting someone or taking advantage of someone.
Right. Or, it's quite simply a form of stealing.
Mm.
Let's be honest about it. It's a
Yeah.
form of stealing.
See, I
When you
told you when she
manipulate
wants to
somebody.
say something or know something, she comes right out and says it. It's a form of stealing, Jim.
But
Yeah.
I saw something, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but I saw
Mhm.
something the other day that really struck me hard. And basically, somebody was offering something that would help them go in and take all their competitors' traffic away from them. And I
Wow.
was absolutely flabbergasted. I literally was flabbergasted, Jim. And I went, oh my gosh,
Mm.
if you have to go after that way your competitors, then you need to reevaluate where you're at,
Mm.
because you should never have to go after your competitors' clients or their traffic,
No, because the only place competition exists is in your mind.
right?
Yeah. I mean,
And
goodness
and and the
gracious.
bottom line is there is enough business for everybody.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, think about this. Uh, Don and I, we were talking earlier this week, and there's an old Celeste Peterson. She is a lady. She passed away at 101 years of age. She was a well-known lady. She had a very unique boutique a specialty shop for ladies. And she was in Tucson, Arizona. And this lady was brilliant. And she catered to, some of her clients were like Elizabeth Taylor, Lady Astor. I mean,
Mhm.
people came from all over the world to shop at Soleil's store. And she made a comment, and it's so true. Now, you entrepreneurs, listen to this. Never sell people what they need. Sell them what they want.
Right.
Because like in her case, she knew every lady needs, dresses and clothing and things of this nature. But she went out and she picked out specialty things. And she survived all the ups and downs of the economy over the
Right.
years, because I don't know when she started her store. It's back around in the 30s, I think, or 40s, because she died in 2010, I think it was, at 101. So, she was around for many, many years. She was known as the first lady of fashion,
Right.
but you can Google, Cele. Her last name is Peterson, Pederson, and look for the Tucson, Arizona. And they did a great write up on her and all that. But most importantly, look what she did for her community
Right.
in giving back. You want to be successful? Learn how to give.
Hmm.
Learn how to be a good servant to your community.
Yep. And give people opportunities.
Yes, yes,
Give people
yes.
opportunity to grow, and however that fits in your life and their life,
Hmm.
whether it's just being a friend, or a business partner, or you hire somebody on your team, whatever that looks like for you, give them the opportunity to grow, because
Mm.
that is giving back.
Yes, yes, it is, Donna. It really, truly is. And I'm going to read Albert Einstein's quote here. He says, "Common sense is nothing more than a deposit of prejudices laid down in the mind before you reach 18." That's Albert Einstein.
Right.
Because look at all of the ways, think in our own lives. When we were growing up, 15 through, let's say 15 through 19, or 13 through 19, that's probably the worst ages you know, for parents, for kids being in the house. But think how they get all these weird ideas. I mean, kids don't think you're smart. They think you can write a check. Well, they'll take a check, won't they?
Right.
I mean, and the sad part of it is they do not realize all of the baggage they got up here that's making them make the wrong decision as they go down the pathway of life.
Right.
And I don't know why teenagers are like that. We were all like that to some degree. And,
Absolutely.
it's just like, my poor dad told me many times, son, when did that seem like a good idea to you?
That's
You know?
priceless. That is
Yeah.
absolutely priceless.
Yeah. Yeah. Because he had a way of just, hitting it right,
The
splitting it right
nail,
down the
right?
middle. Yeah. Yeah. And another one is famous comments he used to say to me. He says, "I don't know about that, son. You might want to rethink that. That looks like a good way for you to skin your ignorance." And I skip my ignorance a time or two too.
Oh,
But
we all have.
our kids in their minds, and you look at all the stuff that they're so exposed to nowadays that we weren't. We didn't have the internet. We didn't even know that. We never heard of the internet.
Right.
We never heard of cell phones. But look at all the stuff that our kids today are exposed to.
That is just a common everyday thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
I remember telling my children, when we got a ceiling fan in the house, that was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
And they looked at me and they said, "What?" I said, "Yeah. When we got a dishwasher, that was a huge deal.
Hmm.
And oh my gosh, we bought a microwave. And then cable TV."
Are you kidding me? Yeah, my
I mean,
kids
like,
growing up, they had it pretty rough. They had to get up and walk through these 10 feet to change the channel.
right? But it was funny because they're like, it just wasn't there with the
Oh,
house.
yeah.
I'm like, oh God, no, not back then. No
Oh, yeah.
way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, it was when you were talking about that, it reminded me of an incident growing up. There was a family that was, they were better well off than we were. And a lot of people lived around there. And they got a color TV.
Oh,
And guess when they put the box out that this thing came in was the day after the garbage got picked up.
of course they did.
Yeah, it's going to sit there all week. We got a color TV. I mean, you look it
Right?
up. I mean, it's just amazing. But I remember we first got our first TV. Kind of like, wow. I told my friends, I says, we got a TV. You got a TV? Can I come over? Sure, come on over.
Right?
I mean, you know. And my mom and dad were very nice about it. They realized Saturday morning was for cartoons.
Absolutely.
Oh, goodness. Those were the good days.
Right?
But
Right?
with all the things that kids are exposed to now, look at all of the evil and wicked stuff, the
Right.
mean stuff, the vulgar stuff. Let's be honest. Let's get right down to the nitty gritty. The vulgar stuff that warps the physical mind.
Hmm.
Think about, this book right here, The 7 Levels of Truth. Sitting down and sharing this with your child just a little bit at a time. Just have them read 1 or 2 sentences and ask them, what does
Right.
that mean to them? And try to get to them the fact that everything physical is very, very limited. There's only fear and there's only love. And because, one of the biggest problems in the world, Donna, is that people are anemic for love. They don't love themselves. And
Right.
many times they have others that, I mean, they don't have anybody else to love because Valentine's Day is coming up here later on this month. And guess what? That's a lonely time for a lot of people.
It is. And actually, you brought that up. So
So
I'm just going to say, we're going to do a week about Palentine's.
that's right. I'm going to be her pal. She's going to be my pal. And,
Right.
we want you to be our pal because
Absolutely.
really, because it's a time for people to come together and to support one another because it's a very lonely time. And because we're social creatures, everybody likes, we need love.
Hmm.
We need love like we need vitamin D and sunlight and water.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's part of life, it's part of living.
Right.
Goodness.
We are social creatures. This
Yes,
is
ma'am.
interesting. You're
Mhm.
talking about the kids and
Right.
how, with the internet, we have so much incredibly valuable information at our fingertips,
Mhm.
whether it's on the computer or right here, real quick on your phone. You can look anything up. In Bill's book, he says, we have been taught very well to behave in a manner that will please others as an obligation that gets approved or rejected by someone else.
Ooh.
Right? That hits it right between the eyes.
That knocked me back in my chair.
Yeah, that's a big one, huh?
Would you be kind enough to read that again? Because that is a powerful statement.
We have been taught very well to
Mm.
behave in a manner that will please others as an obligation that gets approved or rejected by someone else.
Mm. Because either you're living in, you're either living in a very limited type of way or you're living a life where you're ready for expansion.
Right.
And expansion means the love will come rushing to you.
Hmm.
And you will have plenty of love, not only for yourself, but for others. And oh, goodness, it just brings, so much comfort to you in your hour of need, your life.
Hmm. It does.
When I was in the hospital, if I could share this, Donna, and when I went in there for the procedure to put the stents in my heart, and the cardiologist says this won't work for you. He says you need open heart surgery You're going to need bypasses. He says, you need it today. He said, we're going to transport you to ICU. I'll get over with the surgeon and we're going to get you done today because we can't put this off. And I just remember saying to myself, well, Lord, it's in your hands. If the surgery goes well, I go home. If it doesn't go well, I go home. And my point being is that immediately several things happened instantaneously. I had a peace and a calmness that came over me. I felt loved. I felt secure.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew the surgery would go well and my operation would go well. And I share that with you because I sincerely hope and pray in your hour of need that your faith will give you comfort.
Right.
And give you peace, because that peace and comfort that came to me, oh, money can't buy it.
No.
And a thief can't steal it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Many of the stories that we protect buried deep inside of us are an obligations we feel toward those we love.
Oh, many of the stories. Yeah. Got to protect our stories. Oh.
An obligation we feel toward those we love.
Isn't that the truth?
You know, I think the thing for me that I'd like to point out about this book is that for anybody out there, if it can save you some of the road bumps in life that I know I myself went through, that Jim went through, is what, you know, if it can save you those years, it is worth you looking into.
It really, truly is. And we want to share this book with you. And Mr. Bill will be with us tomorrow. Thank you. I'm just so happy about that because it's going to be fun playing point and shoot. But we wanted to share this book with you to start giving you some real life tidbits of what's in this book. Because like I say, Donna and I don't know about Donna, but I know I could not improve on the verbiage that Bill put in there because he just really, every single word he put in there, because he told me, he says, I think about it. I reread it. I look at it again. Is this what I want to say?
Right.
It's coming from the heart. And, there's just no comparison. You can't improve on that.
No, you can't. And if you know Bill the way Jim and I do, he is very intense on his purpose. Right?
Oh yeah.
And he will not mislead anybody. He will not mislead anybody.
The first time I saw Bill was in Orlando, Florida. And I'm walking across the floor in this big room, where we're all at. There's about 700 people in there. And Bill was coming in the door and I was heading out. And he looked at me and I looked at him and I looked away because Bill has these azure blue, steely blue eyes.
Steely blue eagle eyes.
Yes. And when he's looking at you with his haircut, the way he wears his hair short and all,
I know.
He looks like a police detective.
He looks like somebody in the armed forces, like a colonel that you can't get nothing by.
Yeah. Because he looked at me and I could tell he was on a mission. And I thought, well, I don't want to, okay, I just went on and didn't think too much about it. And Bill and I, we've talked about that. And he says, I took one look at you and he says, I could tell you had something going on in your life that you need to get rid of. And he says, I didn't have time to stop and visit with you. Otherwise, I'd asked you what's going on. But he says, I also, too, I didn't know you. And, just one of those things. But the point of it is that the thing I love about Bill, he will tell you the truth in a loving way.
Yep.
And the way he does it is by asking you questions.
Right.
Like, why is that important to you? Not like a psychiatrist or anything like that. But he communicates with you.
That's the key word. He communicates with you.
Yes.
And he communicates with you from a place of love.
Yeah. He sure does. You see his website there, truelifepurpose.com. Go to truelifepurpose.com, contact Bill. He will give you a complimentary 30-minute consultation for free. And you'll get the chance to meet the man that wrote this book, The 7 Levels of Truth. That's his picture there on the back. Let me hold up everything. That's Mr. Bill there. I got my finger in the way somehow or another. Anyway, still got my finger in the way. Okay. Okay. All right. Whatever. Oh, I was moving the wrong hand. Yeah. Kept moving my hand. My hand wasn't moving. I'm going like, what is wrong with that? Then it dawned on me, I got 2 hands. The problem is when you have 2 hands and 1 brain.
They don't always work too well together.
See, I was telling you about the physical being limited. I just proved that.
Oh, my goodness. Well, folks, we are super excited to bring Bill back tomorrow and to go into depth and do, on this book and have him impart his incredible wisdom with each of us to live a better life, to live a life full of love and joy and truly abundance in what you seek.
And one of the things he talks about in there, I don't think we have enough time to go into it now, but he says, you can talk to Bill about this and he will explain to you the difference between what you got up here in your head and what's in your heart. That's pretty much it. A nutshell, what's going to be that 30-minute complimentary consultation is going to be like. Imagine that, because you're not going to realize that all these things you got stuck up here in your mind, how that is really ruling your life. And
the baggage we carry with us.
Yes, it's baggage. It really is. And if you're like me, be thankful. You don't have to use your brain. You don't even have to go to night school to figure that one out. I mean, it just, just come from the heart. Just be the real you. That's why intelligence, whatever that is, I don't know. It's, they told me when I went in the service, they said, oh, you can be in any branch in the Army you want to. So really? Yes. Oh, wait a minute. Your test scores, you'll never have anything to do with intelligence. Okay, I can live with that. I have all my life anyway. But no, realistically, when you come from the heart, you don't have to worry about your mind and all these other things because
everything falls right into place.
Yes, you're going to be going to a higher plane and you won't be realizing it.
Right.
And Donna and I both have seen, once we both got into the TV show here and we joined forces, and we're both like, when we say like-minded, we're both like-hearted really. And the way that we support each other and help each other, because we're family. We really are. I mean, she's got her daughter helping us and I got my granddaughter helping us. So we're just, we're one big happy family. But because we come from love and we got out of the physical, don't worry about thinking about things.
And we got out of our own dadgum way.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that to my attention again. No, but really, it's true when you get out of the way, because so many times we block our own energy.
We do.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I knew you could be your own worst enemy, but I didn't realize I was doing that.
Right.
But if you use the head,
we self-sabotage, and we don't even know it.
Isn't that the truth?
We self-sabotage ourselves, and we don't even know it.
Yeah.
But we're going to be finding out some really amazing tips and some insights from Bill tomorrow. But Jim, I hate to tell you, I know it bums you out, but we are out of time.
Yeah, I really enjoy doing this show, ladies and gentlemen.
I do too. It's all my heart.
Yeah. And we got so many good things coming forward, because we got some good news coming. I can say that.
Yes, we do.
I better not go into detail on that. Otherwise, I might do some hard time in the hacienda, you might say. No, but really, we got some great things that's coming, some good news. And here again, it's another blessing that came to us.
Yep.
It really did. It just, you know, that's the way. That's the way things happen when you got the right heart and you got the amount of love that you have. Opportunity will come your way. It really, truly will. Believe in yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself.
Mhm.
And if anyone is mean to you or cruel to you or says harmful things to you, love them enough to let them go.
Yeah. They're not destined to be in your life.
No, they really aren't. As sad as that is, but that's the truth. Because, like, I've known guys that's been jealous of the wife, and they don't realize that jealousy is a form of hatred,
Right.
and it wounds the innocent person. I mean, I knew one lady. She wouldn't even make eye contact with any man. I don't care if he was 190 and had a nose like an elephant. I mean, she just did not. She could not, because she lived in fear.
Right.
Fear of being beaten, and that's so sad because
Okay.
jealousy is, I don't know why I wanted to mention that, but it just seemed to come to my mind. But situations like that, you need to get out of. You need to love yourself and get out of. You really do. I mean, as cruel and as hard as that might sound,
Right.
we got no choice. And we're out of time, Donna.
We are out
My
of time,
goodness.
Jim.
I hope you've been a blessing to you. And like Donna, I hope you've enjoyed a good laugh or two at me during the show. But we're so thankful that you folks tune in, and we appreciate you and all that. And most importantly, if we can ever, if you have any questions about the show or anything like that, and you'd like to get in contact with us, email us at inspiratione360tv.com. One of our staff members will get it to us if Donna and I don't get to it directly. And we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have, refer you to anything that we can help you with. We'll be glad to. And
Absolutely.
it's our privilege and our honor.
It is.
And we sincerely hope that you and your loved ones are healthy and happy and blessed in all areas of your life. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. Love yourself and love others. And most importantly, stop doing them dumb things like I used to do. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.